Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be looking at one of Color Club's summer collections for 2016, and they have two collections out right now. There's a pop wash collection that's kind of like a sheer wash of color that they say that you can add like to another polish to add, you know, kind of like an extra oomph. And this collection review is actually on the Pop Chalk collection, and they are 7 very bright neon, kind of chalky looking cream polishes. So we're going to go ahead and take a look, as we always do, at live application of all 7 of these polishes. Live application means I'm going to be showing you as I apply them on my nail. I'm not going to be trying to spruce them up for the photos for you, although I do try to take nice photos always. But what I mean is I'm not going to be trying to make them necessarily look their best. The live application portion is just you seeing exactly how they went on for me as I applied them first go. So yeah, it just gives you a really raw look at how these would possibly and most probably apply for you if you purchase them. So that's kind of the point. I want you to know what you expect before you purchase. So I have some kind of strong opinions on this collection. Now, Color Club is definitely bae for me. They're definitely one of my favorites. I love Color Club so much because I feel like they really try a lot of different things. They try to push the boundaries. They don't try to always just stick with what's safe. And what ends up happening is sometimes they really hit it like right on, and sometimes it ends up being kind of just okay, or maybe that really didn't work. But this collection for me today, I feel like a lot of people are either really gonna like it or they're really gonna not like it. And let me just tell you why. First of all, I think you're really going to like it if you're just really looking for some strong, bright, powerful neons and you don't really care too much about formula. I think you're going to not like this collection if you really are set in your ways about how you want your formula to perform for you. And when you've been collecting a lot of polish, you really kind of narrow down what formula you like to work with and what formula you don't. So these polishes, like I said, they all dry matte, they all dry fast, they dry to the kind of this dry looking chalky look on the nail, and that's really fun. It's youthful, it's playful, it's perfect for summer. But what happens is some of these polishes, most of them actually, are pretty streaky. So when you have a polish that dries very fast and it's matte, what happens is when you have a streaky formula, you end up having to go over the nail a number of times. But if you have a polish that dries too fast, then what happens is you have it like it's not gonna turn out even on the nail. So if you already know that you kind of don't like that kind of polish, like you don't want to have to mess with formula, you will probably find out as you watch this review that these are maybe a pass for you. But if you just love the super awesome bright colors that they offer here and how playful and fun these are, and just, I don't know, they just make you want to get out and play with your polish again, then this is going to be right up your alley. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to start with probably my favorite polish in the collection. They gave us this awesomely bright coral red pink. It's called Study Buddy, and this is my favorite for a couple reasons. I feel like this is like the essence of what this collection was trying to do. It's so bright that my viewfinder is actually not really showing it up very well here. It's just a great fun summer color, and it had the better, probably one of the better formulas out of the bunch. 4 of them are for sure 3 coaters. 3 of them you could pass on 2 coats. You would maybe think that you maybe need a 3rd coat, but it depends on how meticulous you want to be. But the problem is when you get into that 3-coat area, it starts to get a little bit too thick on the nail, and then it becomes unmanageable. So I liked this because it wasn't one that I thought, oh, this for sure needs 3 coats. I could get this down to just 2. So I wanted to go ahead and show you how this one swatches. I'm going to be showing them to you 2 coats if they're passable at 2, 3 coats if they need 3, and then on the photos I'm going to show you how they look matte, and then I'm going to show you with a top coat. So let's go ahead and take a look at how Study Buddy swatches in 2 coats. actually go ahead and do all my favorites right up front. So the next one that only needed 2 coats was actually the white. Now, if you were looking for a really great, just hot, bright white polish, then this is probably the one for you. I was really impressed with how opaque this was and how really, really bright it was and good at 2 coats. So this is called Chalk It Up. And yeah, it performed just pretty much like the hot coral one. I actually really liked it. So let's take a look. Okay, so the third polish that does pretty well at just 2 coats is the blue, and this is called Trapper Keeper, and this really takes me back to like 5th grade. This one is great. It's just a nice bright blue. Honestly, I wish on the nail that it seemed as vibrant as it does right here in the bottle, but it did pretty well. So let's go ahead and see how it looks at 2 coats. Alright, so we're going to move on to the polishes that I guess I would have to say I didn't really care for quite as much, and that's just mainly because of formula. They do all have a really nice, pretty matte chalky look, just as the other ones. The first 3 that I showed you, I didn't even notice, but the three that were my favorite are sort of patriotic in nature. That would be a really fun 4th of July manicure if you are in the US. Anyway, we're moving on. So these next ones, I don't think I really recommend as much as the first 3 I showed you, but let's go ahead and take a look at them. So this first one is kind of like kind of a peachy off-white, and it's called Extra Credit. I definitely needed 3 coats on this. It was just kind of streaky, so, you know, let's go ahead and see how it swatches. This next polish, I thought the color was really, really beautiful, and so I was a little bit bummed when it wasn't one of the better performing polishes in the group, but this color is just really pretty. It's called Schoolyard Crush. It's kind of like a light like a light petally peachy pink. Kind of more peach, I guess, than pink, but I really did like the color on this one. It's just it needed that third coat, and then it was kind of getting too, kind of too messy, kind of too thick. All right, and these last two are actually probably the most vibrant in the collection, and I think that they were actually my least favorite, unfortunately. The green, I liked a little bit better than the yellow just in tone, like the tonal quality of the color I thought was more wearable for me, and it's called Tic-Tac-Toe, but this one was probably the most sheer out of the whole bunch and the most watery, streaky. I tried shaking it up, you know, I tried rolling it to try to get it a little bit more even after. You'll see my very first pass in the live application is like, wait a minute, that deposited hardly any polish. I don't know, it just didn't go on very well, but I thought the color of this is so fun. It just makes me think of, you know, roller skating parties down at the rink when I was also in 5th grade. A lot of fun, so I don't know, you may want to mess around with the formula on this one, bad enough to have this, you know, because you really, really want this color, but for me, this one was kind of a pass. All right, and the last up in the collection is a very highlighter yellow, and this is called Cliff Notes. And honestly, I just really didn't care for this much. It leans a little bit on the green side. It doesn't get super opaque, and even at 3 coats, it's kind of streaky. And in a year where Orly came out with such a great neon collection with such a great neon yellow in it, I feel like this one just really didn't live up to that. So that's the reason that I didn't really care for this. But let's go ahead and see how it swatches. right, so that wraps up the live application portion of this video. I don't know if this even really needs to be said, but obviously we all have different opinions on what we like, and this was just my opinion. And of course the live application is there to show you how it's swatched for me. And if you totally love these, that's awesome. I'm so glad, because that's the thing. I mean, we all like different things. So of course, you know, a collection is not going to just play to absolutely every crowd out there. That's going to be perfect for somebody, and so that's great. And I think honestly my favorite way to wear these is kind of like as a Skittle manicure, where that means just like taking a bunch of them and putting maybe 3 or 4 colors across your nails. I showed that on Snapchat the other day, and I think I actually really like, I mean, as much as I like this, I think I like that better. It kind of really plays up to this idea of this collection with these really hot kind of chalk-like colors. Like when you see chalk on the playground, it's in a whole mix of colors and a whole rainbow, because you're using all the different colors in your chalk box. Well, if you just use one, you know, it just looks like any other polish, but, you know, the formula is maybe not quite as nice as another polish. You know what I mean? So I actually really liked it as a Skittle manicure, you know, popping a few of these colors together. I think these are the ones that I had on in that Skittle manicure. It might not have been the white. It might have been this one in here too. Oh no, I think it was the yellow. Anyway, see how fun that is together? I really like that. I like them that way, which does mean that if you do want to be able to use these in that way, you will end up wanting to maybe purchase all of them so that you can mix and match them and use them for that purpose. That was kind of my favorite way to wear them. And honestly, I think my very favorite thing about this collection is how they look in the bottle. They look really great in the bottle. Now, I don't want that to sound like these are horrible. I just really like how they look in the bottle. Honestly, they're really fun to look at on the shelf. I think they're a great display piece. Granted, I'm still going to wear them this summer. I'm going to rock them, and honestly, my daughter is going to go crazy for these. But I just really like how they look. I'm going to put them right up there on that shelf, and I think that they look great. So, I mean, I did want to say that. It's just the frosty nature of this bottle with the super duper bright colors is just so fun. So, I mean, they have that going for it. Now you have my review, you have my take on these polishes. I hope that you had some fun hanging out with me today. I never like to be super negative on my channel. That's not the point of my channel at all. But, you know, when something doesn't really float my boat, I just make sure to tell you, because I want to be super real with you guys. I always put in the description bar down below where I purchased them, in case you want to go there as well and purchase them. I did find these at headtotoebeauty.com. So, yeah, you can go there for a pretty good sale on Color Club polish, and I think that about wraps it up. I hope you're having a great day. I will see you back for my next review, guys. Take care. Bye. So this is another Formula X polish, and it is called Astronomical. So not really yellow, but, you know, hey, I can tell that it has a little bit of yellow in it because it's separated, and I can see a little bit of yellow. This is lovely. It's a really lovely color. I did think that it was kind of more of a